In an unexpected twist of fate, Terran Hopes took a bit of a blow in our first series, and that means we have a Zerg lying in our winners game.
That's right. This is not how the group was meant to play out today, when it looks expectations and also Terran players looking to get 2 out of 2. Well, off to a bad start, our Terrans. Things are going to look brighter because no matter what happens in our next series, 2 Terrans are going 1 up and 1 down, no matter which way it happens.
All right, so our second game of the day is the TVT, and it's going to be a team kill, unfortunately for them, as we have ForGG facing off against Dayshi.
Teammates, but now enemies, fighting for that winner's slot against the Zerg. Unexpected, but well, this is the WCS, this is what happens. ForGG, 5th time in Premier League today, but he has been, let's say to his fans, a disappointment for every season after the first, last year in 2013. But that season, he was on top of his game. And outside of the WCS, he always seems to be one of the best Terran players, and all he needs to do is bring that to this group today, and he's going through. Whether MMA likes it or not, ForGG is going to be looking very strong today in a group full of Terrans. And then we have Dayshi, who, let's just put it, is going to have a hard time against him. Yeah,
I think so. Let's take a look at our first player between these two, as we dubbed him at the very first 2013. It was ForGG Geddon, as he's looking to try and power through today.
9 wins and 2 losses in Terran versus Terran. Everybody knows how good this guy is against Terran players. His timings are crisp. He knows when to win, more so than any other Terran player.
Yeah.
You can watch a game of ForGG and all of a sudden he just moves across the map and then he kills his opponent, and nobody saw it coming apart from that guy right there. He's very happy that there's no Protoss in today's group. He says, see you in the round of 16.
All right, well, now moving on to our second player, a guy who technically has killed off quite a few Koreans in things like team leagues in the past, made a name for himself with it. But today, it's going to be a tall order. It's Dayshi.
Alongside Bunny, the sharpest Terran rising player in the European scene, has really started to make his name known. Whether it be playing for his team in Acer Team Story Cup, whether it be for qualifying the Premier League for the 4th time. He made the round of 16, and he made a lot of fans as well with his fun banter on stream, but also his capabilities when playing Terran. Today is going to be difficult. His stats are pretty insane. 6 map wins to 30 map losses against all players combined. It's not the best of records. He's 0-6 in best of 3s, best of 5s versus ForGG. 0-16 in maps versus ForGG. This will be hard.
Yeah, that's got a sting, that's for sure. And when it comes to TVT, and when it comes to the playstyles that we've seen in the past from a guy like ForGG, does the Hellbat change here influence how ForGG is going to be approaching a matchup where he's very confident with Hellions?
It influences mech a lot. If you think about heavy Hellion-based strategies, and then if you're playing mech and you have an armory, then your map control is incredible because you have Hellions everywhere. Your harassment is insane. And as soon as the armory is built, so is your army insane because they just switch to Hellbats and you are ready for attacks at any moment. It's a big switch and it does affect this matchup for sure. And I'm definitely looking forward to see that play out.
All right, let's get into game number 1 now of Series 2 as we have our TVT unfold and ready to rumble. As we have spawning up to the top left-hand corner, our blue Terran representing Millennium. It is ForGG. And down to the south on merry-go-round as our red Terran, also representing Millennium, it's Dayshi.
Dayshi, I actually watched play a Terran versus Terran last night in Nation Wars with France versus USA against Xenocider, and I was impressed. He played it out perfectly. He played mech, he played clean, he played solid, and I loved it. Interested to see if he can just keep on that, because that shows me that he's practicing, he's doing well. Hopefully he can do that against ForGG. Breaking the deadlock of 0 map wins to 16 is very difficult. And the biggest part of all of that is the mental aspect of it. Approaching a player who is 60 map wins over you, it's very hard to kind of comprehend.
Yep. He's going to be going for gas first here to start things off as Dayshi. So
likewise ForGG.
Ah, okay. All right. So I can only imagine that they both kind of know each other's styles pretty well, considering that they're on the same team.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't practice with each other, you know, as affluently as being on the same team would make you believe, but still, they have to have played quite a few times, be it on ladder, etc., or be it looking over the shoulder at one another.
Yeah, for sure. And they both know Terran versus Terran rather well. ForGG more so. He is an expert in this matchup. But ForGG, is this his season? Is a question that I always ask. It's, you know, similar to Happy in the WCS. Is it this season he's going to do well? Is it this season? Because both of them in Season 1 last year did play well. But ForGG, round of 32, round of 32, round of 16, round of 32, he needs a big performance in the WCS. He needs the points. And he's definitely got it capable with inside. We'll see how well he can do today. So guess first by both. Aggressive, Hellion base, Mine potentially, straight up to Banshees here. Could be tank pushes, could be a drop into Raven. The multiple options here.
Yep. Definitely. And to come back to your point about ForGG and this year, you know, I think his Asus ROG performance really kind of heralded the idea of ForGG rising back to prominence, but we didn't really see that in WCS last season. So this is the season where ForGG needs to now take that previous good result that we saw during that tournament and really capitalize on it, make it prominent.
And also, if you think about the way this group is outplayed, the underdog has got to the winners match.
Yeah,
it's a clear opportunity. Beat this Terran player and you have a good shot to move out. It's definitely something that all of these players are thinking about already, because neither of them would ideally want to face off against MMA.
Yeah, I mean, even at the very start, even the first series of the day has completely turned this group on its head.
Yeah.
These guys were probably anticipating MMA being in that winners match, waiting for the one to be the victor here, but that is not the case. One of these guys has a good shot here.
So both playing aggressive, but ForGG's one of the two here to try to scout to figure out what he's playing against with the use of the Hellion here compared to the factory build in the tech lab, which is the reverse thing over the other side. So that means that the Marine count is heavier for Dayshi, but he sacrificed scouting information earlier on. He's sending out an SCVM trade-off to get that done. So I do like Dayshi's position in this regard, knowing that both of them are not scouting. And this Hellion will be pushed back, and he might get the kill. A few micros as well. Oh, close. They definitely could have.
Yep, nice try, but good pullback there by ForGG. And now both of them going for Cloak Banshees, so this can get a little bit messy, actually, if they cross paths.
Yeah, it depends if they switch after one Banshee.
Yeah.
Some Terran players go for two, some go for the Raven. It's very important which one they do here. And I think that Dayshi, with having this scout, being denied and seeing a Hellion out like this fast, has given him a bit of information that his opponent's gone gas first. Knowing that ForGG scouts with this type of build already has given his opponent a heads up. So I would expect a Raven from Dayshi, because he's already reading into the build. Yeah. He's got his command center on the low ground, he's building a Raven already, where on the other side, ForGG is also getting the Raven, but maybe a little bit more unexpectedly of what's coming.
All right, so Banshees cross paths, but don't spot one another, as you said, Dayshi was just reading into that. I mean, he didn't even send his SCV over to the other location, because he just knew it was going to be gunned down, even if it was to try and get in. Ravens will pop eventually, though.
Who's going to get the kills, though? Who's going to get the most kills? Because that's who's going to be in the lead.
Well, this gets pushed back pretty quick.
Yeah, both.
Yeah. So nothing really happening just yet. Marine kill there for Dayshi so far. Bringing down these Marine numbers is nice, but...
Dayshi!
Bye-bye.
ForGG saw a clear opportunity there. And this is good for ForGG.
Yeah.
ForGG, I mean, at the back there, it's a airtight map. There's nowhere for the Banshee to go. So he's kind of was like, all right, I'll kill it. So first slip up is Dayshi, which means ForGG already taken a lead here by supply, by keeping the Banshee alive.
Just takes the better angle in the end. That was all it came down to. Double Viking on the way for Dayshi
That's one thing that he may be able to capitalize on. Even though he's behind, producing 2 Vikings at a time means he will win in the sky, which means he can start to push against his opponent and slowly push closer and closer towards that natural. Dayshi's lining up a push, which currently ForGG doesn't really have enough to deal with, but is switching over his starport as well. It's become such an important part of early game Terran versus Terran, is controlling the sky. Yeah. Banshee Ravens, tank pushes supported by Marines, are incredibly difficult if you lose, the Viking War.
Yep, they will just control it forever and ever, and because they have so much range, it's very difficult to get underneath them with the Marines, and if that's your only answer to them, then good luck with that. It's very difficult.
So you need to be able to keep up your Viking count. If one player takes a significant lead, which is about to be ForGG, as Dayshi's moved away from his Vikings, then we could see the push come from ForGG here, when it was initially looking like it might be Dayshi.
And this is quite scary for Dayshi to deal with. He doesn't have, you know, a high Marine number. The 2 siege tanks should be able to keep him at bay for a while.
And keeping the Banshee alive and repairing it and bringing it back in again adds a lot of strength to this push.
Yeah, it's an extra additional like tool at the disposal of ForGG that he could wiggle around with. Just have it incorporated into this army. Scans drop, both know the positioning of one another. The Vikings.
Viking lead though.
Yeah.
And the point defense drone there with the Raven. Gonna be nice.
Gotta be careful with this. Now poking away at one of those siege tanks.
Beautiful position. Point defense drone to stop the Vikings. Tanks to support the Banshee. Banshee did take some damage.
If he keeps that alive, it's going to be very, very nice here for ForGG.
And it is cloaked, remember. There's scans available, but a beautiful push by ForGG. Just
and that Raven,
the sky. Oh,
it has to be the cloak. If the Raven tries, it's almost dead.
What a beautiful push.
This is very, very well executed.
The Banshee's gone, though. The Banshee's gone, but so's a lot of everything else.
Yep, good snipe out there, but again, you're right. He just really has nothing to his name. He has to pull off SCVs to try and deal with this. This is catastrophic here for Dayshi, who now is trying to hold on against this push.
Tanks are getting closer, and ForGG's got the position. Beautiful push. This is the killer instinct of Terran versus Terran. Every time goes to ForGG. He smells, he knows, he kills.
Yeah, and very, very soon, unless Dayshi finds a miracle, it's going to be 0 and 17 as, I mean, the 4GG, you're right, you say it perfectly. The killer instinct is there for this guy.
He's an expert at this.
Yeah. Buyback
center gone, 1 base versus 2 base. Game's basically over. Stim is about to complete, which is the one last hope, I suppose, but, I mean, still, Vikings can land. There's a lot of Marines left for 4GG. Beautifully executed, as you say. 0-17. Dayshi, his uphill battle is getting harder and harder.
Domination, I would say, in the end there by 4GG, who takes the better angle with Banshees, takes the better engagement moving forward. Every little thing lined up there for 4GG. And now Dayshi, he already had a mountain to climb before, but it got a whole lot steeper.
Yeah, this is very, very difficult. And there is certainly just a grudge between them. Dayshi can't beat 4GG, it seems.
Yeah.
He's got to somehow make magic happen to be able to turn this around. To be able to not just win a series and win 2 maps in a row, but to win 2 maps in a row against a player who's got 17 against you is incredibly, incredibly difficult. We'll see how this is going to play out. 4GG starts today with a bang. He was very confident to be able to move into the 16 players that we have in the next stage. So far, so good.
Yeah, indeed. And you know, when it comes to a matchup like Terran versus Terran, when it comes to these 2 players specifically, it's very hard for Dayshi to ever bridge that gap, as 4GG just has such dominance in the matchup, and because it's, you know, completely equal, completely on level pegging, level terms, because you're both Terran, how do you find an advantage somewhere here as Dayshi? You've got to do something like wild, out of the box, that your opponent would never think of, but there just isn't really anything, right?
Yeah. You were like a cat then, by the way. It scared me a little bit when you went how. It was like, how? I was like, whoa. You were very emotional and very passionate, Claris.
Thank you. I like that.
You definitely caught me by surprise there. I don't know what he's going to do. You know, it is hard to be able to beat an expert of a matchup.
Yeah.
We talked about his stats, which are incredibly. He's 81% in this matchup, 9 wins, 2 losses. And I think it's only going to extend itself today, especially if he's able to, you know, complete this series up, and if he goes up against MMA could be in trouble as well. This is hard for Dayshi, and he's got to find a way somehow. Otherwise, yeah, unless he's saying to himself, you know what, I can't beat this guy, but I could beat MMA. You know, either way, Dayshi's going to have a hard run today.
All right, well, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Second map is going to be Frost for TVT, and again, 4GG has that killer instinct. This is what Dayshi has to now analyze and somehow find a way through. If he doesn't, if he just allows 4GG to play his game again, I think it's lights out.
It almost feels, if you don't equal or have more Vikings than 4GG, you die. If you don't have more or equal Hellions than 4GG, you die. No, every single turn is, you know, looking at death, apparently, for any Terran player against 4GG, and he's rarely beaten. And it's something that is not just in the WCS, outside as well. he just gets this matchup better than you know most.
I mean, it was scary to think when we were casting previous seasons of WCS where he would just make nothing but Hellions and just come and kill you. He would break down your wall. It didn't really matter because he'd have like 25 Hellions at a time where it seemed unfathomable and then kill you with those. It was pretty terrifying. And he just... There's no way to describe it other than he just gets it. I mean, the people who he's lost to were like in Season 1 finals. It was like MVP, right, I think. And that's one of the only losses he's had in TVT. He almost came close to losing to Lucifron back then, but even that was not to be.
All right, well, Dayshi's taken a couple of seconds here just by looking in, and he is now ready so the game can begin. I would take a couple of seconds as well if I was facing up against ForGG, and we'll see if those seconds can help, because if not, then this is going to be a very fast second game. Something needs to power up Dayshi. I don't know if he needs to, you know, consume a beverage as fast as possible.
That. Spirit Bomb time if you're a fan of Dragon Ball Z. Anything here for Dayshi to try and get going. Let's jump into game number 2 now as we have Frost, our map. And up to the top corner is our Millennium's Terran. They're both Millennium Terrans. It is Dayshi. And up to the top left, currently 1-0 in the lead, it is ForGG.
Oh, they don't say liquid confidence for no reason. He needs some.
He does.
All right. So Dayshi kind of came into the today's group knowing that it was going to be difficult.
Yeah.
I remember I tweeted out last night about his record against everybody, which is bad. And he was like, yep, that's my group. That's my group. And then I was saying something last week about how Dayshi could be, if Firecake did well, the 3rd French player in the round of 16. And he tweeted back saying, have you seen my group? So he's well aware that this group is, you know, one of the hardest groups for him to be in. It's got a WCS champion, a 2-time finalist. It's got ForGG, who's an expert in Terran versus Terran. And then it's got a guy who plays Zerg, who's dangerous, and also has a 5-win to 1 loss record against Dayshi. So even though Dayshi's meant to be good against Zerg, he also has a losing record against the one Zerg that's in the group. So it's just a bad group for him, unfortunately. But he is opening up this with a bit of a risk.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Command Center first. So Command Center first is good against builds like 15 gas, where 4GG opens up safer, and with a decently timed Command Center, but not super fast and not super late. It's not as strong, this build, versus what 4GG is doing, which is gas first again. And it looks like Dayshi was maybe hoping that 4GG took his foot off the accelerator for a little bit here, but that's not the case. He's opening up with the same.
And I think in the end, it may end up being a little bit foolish to think that 4GG takes his foot off at the accelerator, because he plays at 1,000,000 miles an hour, man. When it comes to this matchup, he is in your face constantly. So 4GG, he loves his aggression. Even across other maps, he loves his matchups. He loves his aggression. So this is not going to be letting up anytime soon.
I mean, if Dayshi, is able to, you know, survive up to the 10-minute mark, he's in really good shape. If he doesn't take much SCV losses, he would have an economy which is boosted and super fueled, ready to play the mid part. But is he going to survive? You know, 4GG scouts with a Hellion, as we saw. If that is going to be the same again here, depending on how many Marines are out, there could be the denial of the scout, which wouldn't really give 4GG the nod to being super aggressive here. And when I mean super aggressive, it could be a Banshee into tank push off one base and then a later expansion. But that was a good scout. That was a very good scout by Dayshi. He knows already that he's facing trouble. The factory is done and the starport's on its way, which means that Dayshi knows he's playing against gas first and has to already be starting to prepare his defense.
Yep. Taking his second gas, throwing down his factory as quickly as possible from here on out. He knows he's not going to be facing any kind of heightened number of Marines or something like that, so tech is certainly an option. But still Simon, he's got a catch-up to do. He's going to have to hold on against all of that.
Yeah, he's got to really rush up to units here, whether it be Hellion, Viking, Raven, Hellion, Raven, Viking. Any combination of the 3, as long as he has the 3 here, is going to be good for him. He gets a late but nicely timed bunker there, which isn't too fast, but it's not too late either, which means he's able to balance a lot of other parts of his build to be on time. And so far, the good thing for Dayshi is that ForGG is scouting in the last possible position, which means that ForGG doesn't know exactly what he's playing against yet. And he may even build a Raven next, which may not help out as much as another Banshee would or something. So far, Dayshi's getting closer and closer to that 10-minute mark without being touched, and that's the overall goal here. As he has more SCVs, more mules, and the option to build 2 SCVs at a time. And he is getting closer towards a Viking here, and he's chosen to go turret Viking instead of Raven. So tanks already, and it will be turrets in the mineral lines and Vikings produced and a couple of Marines for support.
Oh, very, very important to lock down completely. He's also actually even throwing down a missile turret in between all of this just to keep himself well defended. The Hellion now spots it. Banshee's on the way, but turrets will be done in time.
Yeah, and ForGG knows what he's playing against here already.
Yeah.
Like, he sees this command center well done. He even gets in and sees turrets. So far, the Frenchman's doing it. He's got to minimize the damage from this Banshee.
Yeah, ForGG even has a Raven in production here, so this which isn't going to be too useful unless he actually uses it in a push.
Well, 2 SCVs already. Command center's on its way for ForGG, so every little SCV he kills is an added bonus here. And the Viking just now out. Should be no more SCV kills, just should be 2.
Yeah. There's no siege tanks in... Well, okay, there's a siege tank now on the way for ForGG after claiming the position. But it does get pushed back by that Viking. And Dayshi looks pretty hunkered down for now.
Yeah, he looks in good shape. He's taking his natural gases faster. And overall, he survived without taking too much damage. Obviously, ForGG scouted this late and wasn't able to kind of mold his build around. But ForGG is building a lot of Marines. Notice how the starport's not on the barracks, and that is a lot of Marines. But I'm looking at Dayshi's setup. Those Marines are not going to break him.
Yeah.
2 tanks, 3rd on the way, turrets, Vikings still being produced, extra barracks on the way.
Very nicely set up. Very nicely set up right now. There's the switch over for ForGG. He'll probably try and push out and poke around.
He'll try, but I think it's going to be not so successful. Where the turret is on the top there, he can put a tank next to it, and you know the Raven Banshee is going to have a much harder time getting close. And then we have Dayshi got Stim on the way. He will be able to have, not Stim on the way, +1 on the way. He will get Stim soon. Find it a hard time to see ForGG breaking this, but, you know, ForGG's a pro. He's an expert. He knows how to crack defenses which almost shouldn't be. If he does it, I would be quite surprised, though.
And he's going to try and go the long way around up in this north position, which is going to be spotted by a Viking. So that gives him a little bit of a heads up. He does have the Viking... No, he doesn't have the Viking advantage.
Dayshi scans, sees the army missing, and is now going to see the army up there.
Kill that Viking, and he would have the Viking advantage for a second.
Nice. That is nice. But now, I mean... Ooh, Dayshi's going to meet him.
Whoa! I don't think he...
Oh, nice scan by ForGG sees that.
Yeah, there's the double. And tries to fly forwards to catch a Viking there. Banshee now moves into the fray. Outside of the scan there for a second. Now trying to get a siege tank. Pushing it back is nice, but it's 4
SCVs coming. 4 SCVs, are they repairing? Yeah, okay.
Somehow got it.
No, they're going. Or are they?
That's a lot of damage on the Marines there for a second as well. Got to be careful with this. That Banshee still being alive is causing a problem.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Dayshi did go out to meet him.
Yeah.
He could have like hugged the turret at the top there.
I think it would have been better. I mean, the Banshee wouldn't have got a siege tank kill at least, right? But I guess maybe he was a little bit afraid of being fully contained. But now, I mean, that missile turret on the top is gone.
Well, and ForGG is going to edge closer. I think we may have to see some SCVs pull to help. He might have to pull some SCVs to break this. 4 tanks, if they are out of siege mode, do a lot of damage fast against this. SCV pull to smash this, probably best idea.
Here we go. Right, can I try and break this? Draw some of the fire away with those meat shields at the front, but the Marines melt through them very fast.
Banshee gets the tanks down at the back there.
Yeah.
Medevac could pick up and, yeah, it could micro here. Nice. Yeah, good move.
Oh, and even drops it just before the Viking actually kills off the medevac, so that was good in the end. But
look at the SCV count, equal, and there's already 2 more tanks coming across.
Jeez.
ForGG just, you know, unbelievable sometimes.
I mean, I don't think he breaks him at this point, but at least evening up the...
No, he's evening up the game.
Considering the openers, right?
Considering the openers, the game is very equal, but Dayshi does have the +1 attack over 0 upgrades and isn't out of it, but that was a fantastic push there by ForGG. I didn't think that would work. I didn't fully expect him to be broken completely, but I didn't expect him to take the damage he took. That was a nice move, really nice move. But it is, if you look at the production for Dayshi, 5 barracks and 3rd, So these are the things he has over 4GG still with the opening that he had. 2 extra barracks, a faster upgrade, and the 3rd command center just a little bit faster. So a couple of things there are in his favor.
Yeah, but
still.
At the same time, at least 4GG understands that, you know, with the amount of army that he killed off, his opponent is probably not going to be pushing out anytime soon.
This one Marine by Dayshi.
Be a hero. He's not going to be a hero. He's
No, it's
Raven.
too late already.
Yeah.
He's going to get dropped in his main base, and this is going to be hard to deal with.
Especially with 2 siege tanks on the high ground as well. Jeez.
Yeah, 2 siege tanks on the high ground. He can put siege tanks underneath as well, start sieging into the production. Nice move from 4GG. This is pretty annoying to deal with.
Yeah, and anything he can get here is really nice for him. He's actually bringing up even more with the 2 medevacs.
Oh.
Wow. All right, this is ambitious, but will it work out? Auto turret goes down. Trying to kill off a lot of these Marines. There's 2 siege tanks at the back, do a ton of damage, with the Marines trying to power forwards as well. But in the end, it's Marine blow for blow. 4GG with a supply advantage still, though.
He's going to drop Marines on top to try and deal with this. Kills off 2 of the tanks.
That was good.
More Marines come in for 4GG here.
Loses a barracks during all of this.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Once again, you know, just 4GG finding holes to exploit.
He never lets up. He just never lets up. One more Marine gets dropped off to try and do some splash damage to that siege tank, but he might lose a medevac. Oh, it was close.
Definitely can feel the pressure from Dayshi coming through the game lobby, out of my monitor and into the studio. Definitely feeling it here for Dayshi. He's going to try and break it with SCVs to break nothing.
Oh.
And 4GG's already out of there. Now, similar in supply. Again, similar overall, but 4GG's faster and taking the lead now with equal production, faster mining on the 3rd.
Yeah, it's as if every time Dayshi sets up a lead, he's like, yes, now I have the lead. Somehow, 4GG always completely resets it, and then if not, pushes it in his favor. I mean, supply counts are very simple, yes, very, very even, but I still, with the aggressive stances that 4GG keeps taking, I can only imagine he's going to try and find some more of those, and Dayshi better be prepared.
And 4GG is going to focus very heavily in the middle of the map right now, control the Zelnaga tower, and start to siege on the 3rd. Look inside his main. He's going to control the middle and say you can't enter here because of all those turrets up to the top right. Like, you are not entering there.
Yeah.
So he's going to lock down the middle and then, you know, in turn, lock his main base off from Dayshi dropping him, which becomes very difficult to deal with because Dayshi is exposed in his main base. If you hold the Zelnaga tower here, you have access to both the 3rd and the main. Depending on where you boost, you can go anywhere.
Drops a scan, realizes he's unsieged. He's going to try and take this opportunity to push forwards once again with these Marines, but pulls back, realizing it was a little over-ambitious. It did get a few of the Dayshi's Marines as well, though, so blow for blow once again.
And this is where 4GG, I think, can pick up and go to the main again.
Yeah, he could.
Looks like Dayshi's going to attempt what I mentioned. Oh, no, he's actually going to come for a flank. I thought he was going to try and drop in the main.
This is maybe a quite bold move. Oh, going to try and go for this once again, but siege the tanks still at the back here for 4GG, dishing out a lot of damage. It was a good concave for Dayshi in the end. The Marines and siege tanks are going to get on top of this and push this away. Not too bad.
Nice. Didn't expect him to push 4GG back here, but he does. And now it's still very similar. They're very close still. Dayshi does have more Marines. He's going to go for a big drop, and this.
Whoa. If he walks into those missile turrets, I don't think he does. I think he's now it's just like a waste of time. Like,
but his 3rd's exposed.
Yeah, exactly.
He could try to fly past the turrets. He would lose 2-3 medivacs with this.
Oh, a missile turret in an arbitrary location actually spots this before it even gets in.
4GG knows it's happening. He's got Marines there and tanks.
Uh-oh. You can't do that. No way.
Uh-oh. And 4GG is going to come try and catch this.
All right, loses one of the medevacs at the front. Second one takes a lot of damage, loses that as well. Trying to parade down those missile turrets on the edge of this. But the army is setting up for 4GG to push in.
Dayshi's in trouble.
He's trapped.
He's cornered. He's trapped. He's in trouble. And his play that could have done a lot if there wasn't those turrets there. Oh, dear. Nice 2 tanks, by the way, in the middle.
Yeah.
Controlling the Zelnaga tower. Really nice. I am so scared for Dayshi's army. Unbelievably scared. The second he unsieges to boost out, his army's dead.
And he lost 2 of those medevacs, so it's difficult for him to ever do anything, right? Like, he can't really evacuate this whole army out. Regardless of what he does, he is bound.
This, without 4GG losing a lot to a counterattack, is deadly.
Yeah. At least he got those.
Because that is all his tanks.
Oh, wow.
4GG's waiting to pounce.
What's this?
He's going to go soon. Here we go.
All right, well, this army is going to get shut down, absolutely taken out. And bye-bye siege tanks.
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts a lot. Dayshi does control the middle, though. That's a nice counterplay because, of course, the counter push is coming, but if he meets it sieged up before it attacks, he needs to actually siege up here.
ForGG could just go.
Yes, ForGG can actually just walk over that army.
Yeah.
He needs to siege up with his tanks to make sure that it's not as easy.
6 tanks to 2 right now in favor of ForGG, and this...
Oh, another attempt. I'm not sure if ForGG caught that. I think he might have caught the tail end of it. If not, the turret's going to spot it and a supply depot, so...
Yeah, these supply depots in arbitrary locations.
Terra versus Terra.
I mean, ForGG plays it just miraculously as well.
Yeah. Both players are about to have 2-2, by the way. We got a big drop again.
He sees it. He sees it with the supply depots.
The turrets are rebuilding, though.
He's going to try. He thinks that they're not there. He goes in. Now he's going to be caught in between a rock and a hard place. Regardless of where he goes, he's going to take a lot of damage. Tries to unload in the main base. Gets himself a siege tank. But the entire force of ForGG is hunting him down. Yeah,
Daishi's going to try and trade off this army for as much as he can while rebuilding at home. It's going okay. He's managed to keep these Marines alive, but they will get slaughtered now in the corner.
Yeah, if they could grab themselves anything here, it would be okay. But again...
Yeah, he picked off a few SCVs. But that's about it that's given him the lead because he lost a lot of army supply. So the tank lead is 7-8 now to 2. The Marines are lower, but his income's better. So he can replenish what he's lost, but he needs to lock down now.
I mean, yeah, that's what Dayshi has to do. What stops ForGG now just saying, well, time for me to go and kill you because I've got very, very cost-effective trades against your army during all of this.
He's going to drop again because the turrets were, well, kind of taken down.
That's one way to buy some time.
He's got the Zelnogga Tower.
That's another way to buy some time.
That's a beautiful way to buy time, to buy it in the middle. And he's got +3 attack on the way.
Wow.
Dayshi just needs to keep buying time. Like I said, he's got a better income, which means he will have a higher supply soon.
The Marine's going to try and shut down some of the missile turrets up to the north. If he can kind of chew away at that, it will buy time. But at the same time, a lot is loaded up here for ForGG. He is smelling an opportunity.
Uh-oh.
This could get scary.
Oh, nice scan by Dayshi, but kind of misses the army in the medivacs.
Yeah.
ForGG, does he have enough to hold his third? 3-4 tanks, a handful of Marines, while killing off everything. But Dayshi is going up north here. He may catch this by luck, I'm not sure.
I think it's going to go around.
No, it's going
around.
By
the time...
And as long as ForGG has enough to hold his third, this is a beautiful move.
Uh-oh.
He puts Dayshi in checkmate almost. This is so nice.
It's you do something about this or you base trade. There is not really a whole lot more you have to do.
He's coming back. He's not going to launch an attack. I think he's going to come back, but he's going to lose a lot.
Yeah, if you come back, you lose a lot of the infrastructure here. You lose a lot of the mining.
Is up there.
Oh, dear me. This is going to be bad here. If Dayshi can't do anything about it.
Nice.
And he's on lockdown. I mean, this command center falls. The income, the economy, the infrastructure just gets obliterated. Oh, dear.
Beautiful move. If he gets that +3 attack up there, too, that's nice. He's going to hold the ramp with his tanks. So anything that filters up that ramp is instantly killed.
I mean, this is what Dayshi wanted to do with the 2 attempts that he had, but ForGG just executes it better.
Nice, nice, nice. That was such a good move. +3's gone, so the upgrade advantage that he could have had is now gone. The income is now dropped. Oh, ForGG.
All right, well, ForGG is now going to stage an assault onto the natural, probably, or just get out. I mean, whatever he wants to do is fine.
He could leave, yeah.
And his army's so much bigger as well.
Dayshi on the other side is going to run into some SCVs here, and that is nice to pick those up.
It's all right.
He's going to start dropping onto this. It's a nice counterplay here by ForGG. I mean, sorry, by Dayshi.
He's sending Marines up to the left-hand side as well, so down to the left-hand side.
And he catches the 4th base, which is a good pickup for Dayshi. So all hope not lost.
Pushing down onto the natural, though. Siege tank as well as Marines getting barraged. And from the high ground, I mean, it's hard for Dayshi to do anything against.
Dayshi just does not have enough units on this right-hand side looking at it.
No.
There is 4 tanks, a lot of Marines for ForGG, and there's only 2 tanks for Dayshi and a handful of Marines. Look at the supply, army supply. It's double. 76 for Dayshi, 154. There's just so much more.
Yeah. It's almost as if, like, now for ForGG, yeah, he lost a few SCVs, but that's just going to power up his army to one unstoppable force.
Nice position with the tanks as well. High ground. He's going to siege into these Marines and then come in. Whew, Terran versus Terran is awesome.
It is pretty cool to watch. This is really well played by ForGG. Dayshi, to be fair to him, he has really made a good meal out of this game, trying to capitalize, but...
that move.
Well, you don't expect that. You don't expect it from this angle. It's like, well, I'm just going to drop here and kill all your super factories. Bye-bye.
He's like, where do those Marines come from?
Ah!
Nice move.
And he has to replenish those factories as well. Jeez.
A really good attempt here by Dayshi to fight against ForGG, who is an expert. But, you know, there is a different class level here between these two. ForGG looking at the 2-0 here, looking at going to the winner's match, looking at playing LiveZerg to advance through. I'm sure LiveZerg's going to put up a fight, but Dayshi's in trouble. He does have that base down to the bottom, which hasn't been expected yet from ForGG.
Yeah.
Which is the only glimmer of hope left.
I think you said it brilliantly seasons back, Sean. He just gets it. He just gets this matchup beyond what we see a lot in the European scene. And, geez, I mean, ForGG was probably looking at this group thinking he was going to have an absolute field day. And right now he is. He is, despite the openers, despite him being behind twice, I would say, in this matchup, in this match even, he's running away with it.
All right, here comes the last stand. And he's going to lose a lot of SCVs here. Almost all.
Yes, he is. And with that, even the Marines, even the siege tanks can't fend that off for a second. He finds the base down to the bottom left as well as ForGG.
Yeah.
Bottom right even. And there's not a whole lot left here for our Frenchman.
Yeah, it's probably just kind of, you know, a little bit upset the way that Series 1 went and taking it into fact that this game's not working out so well for him here, as ForGG does now eliminate the last hope of mining from Dayshi, and the command center will even be blown up. So Dayshi is very low on everything. ForGG's mining from the north now to the top left, which gives him an extra bit of income to further his economy and start banking money, really, because he's at 200 supply to 100.
Nice little drop over here for Dayshi, trying to clean up some of these siege tanks. And
I think it's time for ForGG to smash through what Dayshi has outside of his third.
Yeah, I mean, he has the force, right? He has enough Marines to just spread out along a big concave and just break through.
Yeah. I think it's time. Oh, he's bringing... No, he's actually going to stand with his army, but pick up 4 medevac's worth of units to join what he has on the right-hand side. I guess that's a smart thing to do. I mean, he's got 4 bases. That's great. Well, his top corner of the map, should we say.
Yeah, I think in ForGG's position, you want to strategically be victorious as opposed to just smashing through. I mean, you can smash through, but why not play it out to the absolute best you can?
Well, there's a lot of +3 Marines down the bottom now, which are going to have a field day.
Yeah.
Wherever they decide to go. And Dayshi's hanging on to this one base with everything he's got. He's going to try and break this right-hand side, which he will. ForGG escapes with 8 of the Marines.
Yeah, nice cleanup there, but he's going to lose a lot of his production down to the south. Yeah, barracks fall.
Back to 2 factories and 2 barracks and a starport.
All right, well, we are watching a masterclass right now of TVT and how ForGG is executing it, and unfortunately, Dayshi is on the receiving end of that. Yeah,
Dayshi very stubborn here, not just to you know, give up straight away for ForGG, and he's going to play this one out until the bitter-sweet end. But at the end of the day, he's got to, you know, launch an attack which kills ForGG, and I can't see that happening yet.
He knows the position. He's just going to separate his Marines up and try and push through, kill off those siege tanks. And when those go down, it's only the soft, gooey Marines left inside.
Last command center.
And that falls. I think MMA is having quite a bit of fun. Sorry, ForGG, yeah. I
mean, he gets out boost with the majority of his units, and now there's no command center. There's no money to build a command center. So Dayshi really has one final attack. So he's going to bring his SCVs. All right. And now it's
the last hurrah.
The last hurrah as you march into 10, 15 siege tanks. So
good luck.
This is going to be bloody or metallic, whichever way you want to look at it.
Yeah, depending on the unit, it'll be fine. Dayshi, fortunately for him, the end is looking very, very nigh.
Yeah.
Okay, ForGG has a pretty strong army. The siege tanks try and siege up to kind of parade against that and actually kill off a lot of the Marines at the front, so good attempt, but in the end, overwhelming numbers conquer.
And ForGG finds himself in the winner's match, 2-0 versus Dayshi.
All right, so I'll mute that as I press the wrong button. So there you go. Congratulations to ForGG, moving on forwards. And that was pretty impressive, I gotta say. I mean, if I'm MMA even in this group now, I'm hoping that ForGG kind of doesn't lose next. Otherwise, it gets scary.
If LiveZerg beats ForGG, this group is messed up. And one of the Terran players is definitely out of this group. This is going to be a series to watch. ForGG can just make it easier on his Terran brothers and go through himself,
Yeah.
pushing the Zerg to be fought between the other two. But which way will it really go?
Yeah, we'll find out in just a little bit, guys. So join us after the break when we find out who is the first place finisher here in Group G. It's either going to be Live Zerg or ForGG.